Hi all, welcome to this series of intro questions front-end every day. So today we will be seeing yet another important question, a very interesting question. Okay, this question I had long back, but later only I came to understand. So I hope this question may be there in many people's mind. So I thought let me address that. So the question is simple. Okay, why we need callback and promises in JavaScript, but why not in other languages? That's question here. Other languages, I mean Java, C++, .NET, whatever. So, so the very important difference you need to understand is Java, C++, all those languages, it is capable of spawning another thread. So whenever they want to do a fetch call, what they will do, they will fetch another thread, do the call to the server, wait for it to come back, and then the whatever response they get, they will return to the main thread. But is this possible in JavaScript? No. As I maybe I had a question before. So in JavaScript, we have only a single thread. That is the main thread. So there is no way it is possible in the JavaScript to wait for this fetch call to the server to return. If you anyway going to wait till the response comes from the server, what will happen? Till that time it comes back, you will be blocking the thread. So for that time, the user can't use your web page because you have you are using the thread. So in JavaScript, the user does not have any thread to do anything on your web page. So it will be frozen, and you may have seen it will keep rotating, saying it is unresponsive. That's what will happen. So to avoid all these scenarios in JavaScript, we should never block the thread. And for all these activities, like which you don't know when it will return back, maybe like a fetch call to the server or set timeout, what you have to do, you have to move to the asynchronous way of handling. Asynchronous, I mean for activities for which you don't know when it will return back. For all these activities, you either need to move to callback or promise or observables. So callback first came, then more advanced is promise and more advanced is observables. Okay. Okay. Hope you are able to understand. Okay. Why it is very vital to in JavaScript. It is because the single threaded nature of JavaScript. Okay. Let me also try to make you understand with a simple example. Here I have set timeout, and whatever I put marked in yellow is a callback, and I have given 3000 milliseconds of I want to print this hello after 3000 milliseconds. Just think for a second, is this possible without imagine I don't have callback or promises. Is this possible to print this hello after 3000 milliseconds using set timeout if you don't have callback or promises? Only way you can do it is make a set timeout call, wait for it to return back, right? But wait for it to return back, you will be blocking the thread, right? And then you will print hello, right? That's what we can do. So you will end up blocking the thread. So only we have to opt for callback or promises. So now let's understand the same thing with callbacks. Okay. Now we will understand how it actually happens. So in case of all this asynchronous handling, what we will do, whatever task we want to do afterwards, once the set timeout completes or fetch completes, we will wrap it in a function and give it to the asynchronous task itself. Right now, set timeout is a asynchronous function, and set timeout is not a JavaScript function. It is a browser API function. It is different for different browser vendors. So we wrap that the console.hello what we want to print in a function and give it to set timeout. The browser API what it will do once the it will do its functionality once the 3000 millisecond gets elapsed, what it can't execute that JavaScript function. Okay, it has to give it to the JavaScript engine to execute. So once the 3000 millisecond gets elapsed, it will take that function what we have given to it and put it into the JavaScript queue. Okay, and the JavaScript engine will take from the queue to the call stack. When the call stack is empty, that it means that it does not have any other synchronous task to complete. It will take one by one from the queue and execute in the call stack. Okay, so this is how it happens. This is how callback happens. So you can very well understand how we are able to do this without blocking the thread. We never block the thread in any point here. We just give whatever we want to do to the set timeout function, that is a browser API function itself. And once it has done the work, it will give that JavaScript function to the queue, and from the queue, the JavaScript function will be taken to the call stack and executed. The same thing works for promise also. In case of promise, what will happen is once the promise resolves, okay, sorry, it will put the JavaScript function, that is whatever we have put it inside promise.then, that function will be put into the queue, and in the similar way it will be taken from the queue and executed, taken from the queue and executed in the call stack. Okay, so hope you understood why it is very vital to use promise and callback in JavaScript, because without this we will be ending up with the user having a unresponsive screen. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.